If you want to gain the edge in your matches and ultimately win more often, then you've clicked on the right lesson. Hey everyone, Coach Simon here with Top Tennis Training, and in this lesson we're going to cover my top 5 tennis tips and tricks for playing singles. Now I see the same mistake happening time and time again, and that is players walking onto the court not ready to actually start the match from the first point. They treat the first few games almost as if it's the warm-up itself, and this is where good players will expose you. They're ready to start playing at full intensity from that first point, and they'll have the edge because they'll win the first 3, 4, 5 games, and before you know it, you're in a massive hole and it's going to be very hard for you to come back. So the start of the match is so important, and that's why it's important that we have a good warm-up before the match actually starts. Now this isn't really a tactic, but it is a strategy for you to actually perform better when you start the match. You don't want to be strolling on the court and being cold, not being ready to run, not being ready to actually sprint for those wider balls. You want to come onto the match court feeling like you're ready to go at full speed from the first point. Now sometimes we just don't have the time to actually hit, especially when you're playing at an event with many players. The courts are all being occupied with matches, so you might not have the chance to actually hit some tennis balls, but you can spend at least 10 or 15 minutes warming up the body, going through a proper warm-up routine. This could be some jogging, this could be some skipping, it could be doing a few footwork drills. 1, 2, 3. Doing something where you catch the ball on the spot, even bouncing the ball on the strings just to get the eyes tracking that ball. Anything that will help you to warm up the body and feel like you're ready to go will help you in those first few games. Now once you step on the match court with your opponent, you'll be given a warm-up. You're able to do normally 5 minutes. Now often at the tournaments where there's a lot of players, you may even get away with doing a 10-minute warm-up. Now this warm-up is very important if you haven't hit many balls that day, or any balls at all. It's important to actually get your eye on the ball, get your feel for the shots, and just get into the groove of playing tennis. But it's also a great time to assess your opponent and pick up on any flaws that you may see in their game. So the warm-up is a perfect time to actually study what your opponent does well, and more importantly, what they don't do as well. Now we can test out the opponent in many different ways. See how they deal with that deep, aggressive spin. Do they move back? Do they try to take it on the rise? Are their feet heavy? Are they not moving back at all? We can also slice the ball. We can see how they deal with picking up a low ball. We can hit the ball slightly wider to either side. What do they actually do when they move out wide on that backhand side? Often we'll see the player slicing. That might be a spot where you can actually expose later in the match. See how they pick up the low volley. Are they able to actually make that low volley? Is the technique looking solid? Now some of the most important things to pay attention to are the grips that they use and also their swings. So if I'm playing someone who is playing with a Western forehand grip and I see that the grip is extreme, I know straight away that one of my go-to tactics would be to slice the approach shots to their forehand side and try to make them pass me with that low bouncing ball. Now when the match begins, try to play high percentage tennis in the first few games. The first few games, I often see players starting at 100%. In the warm-up, they're hitting nice and smooth, everything looks kind of okay, and the match begins and they start trying to rip the hair off the back of the ball. They're going for everything, they're going for the lines. Now what this does is it will throw off your rhythm and your timing, and it will put you way out of sync, but it also doesn't allow you to actually examine the opponent. You won't find any information from the opponent because you're constantly missing. And you might go 5 or 6 games in this kind of manner where you make a few winners, but you hit a bunch of unforced errors, and before you know it, you're 4-2 down, 5-1 down, or you're even 6-love down. So we want to avoid doing that. And by playing consistent tennis, this means eliminating the net, so giving good margin over the net, lifting the ball. Hitting with aggressive spin, eliminating the lines by not going for the lines, but going for bigger targets, and mainly playing cross court. Now if we can do this for the first few games, you're building a very good foundation to then play the entire match in a good, consistent way. You're also able to assess the opponent extremely well if you are consistent yourself. All of this information is only available to you if you keep the ball in play for long enough. So start the match out at something around 65 to 75% of your power, build up that consistency and assess the opponent. That will give you some clues on how you can actually win the important point. The next step in winning more singles matches is to find the opponent's weakness. Now they may not have a weakness, they may be very solid off both wings, they may have a solid serve, good return of serve, but they'll have something that's slightly weaker than the rest of the game. This might even be their net game. But in order for us to find the weakness, we have to once again test the waters. We have to hit aggressive spin to their backhand side. We have to test the approach shot. Sometimes on the approach shot you may drive your approach. Sometimes you may slice the approach. How do they deal with both the power approach and then picking up a low ball? Are they able to pass you with their backhand? This is a tactic that I like to test out very early in matches. See how my opponent actually deals with being attacked, me coming to the net, and then them trying to pass me with, in general, the weaker side. So once again, I have to play consistent tennis in order for me to actually test out all of these different aspects in their game, but I'm looking for that information. And after a while, you actually start to see some flaws. You'll see that maybe they don't like dealing with low balls on the forehand side, or maybe they don't like dealing with the high backhands. You might pick up on a few hints, and that's where you'll start to expose them on the bigger points. So on your break points, on your game points, you may be looking to exploit the weaker shot. In a tennis point, we have three main phases of play. We have the defending phase, we have the neutral phase, and we have the attacking phase. So when we're defending, it's when the opponent has the upper hand, they're moving us around, they're being aggressive, we're just trying to keep the ball in place somehow. Now in a neutral phase, it's sort of where neither player has the upper hand, we're trying to construct something, we're trying to gain the edge in the point, but neither one of us actually has it at that particular moment. And then we also have the attacking phase. This is where most players think of attacking as going for more power, but we can attack with precision, we can attack with time, and then we can attack with power. Now if I want to attack with precision, it means being very precise with my shots, using the entire court, making sure that I make this player run, or exposing the weakness. With time, I can take time away from the opponent by stepping in, Djokovic style, taking the ball on the rise, basically taking away the time that they have, my opponent has, to prepare for the next shot. We can also attack by approaching the net. And this is one of the phases of play that many players neglect. They have short ball after short ball after short ball landing on their side of the court, and instead of approaching off that short ball, they hit that shot and go back to the baseline. Now players who actually take on those short balls and start to approach, often the opponent will miss simply because of the pressure of someone actually coming to the net. So be one of those players. Focus on approaching off those short balls. Whenever you have a short ball, don't just hit it and run back to the baseline, take it on. Even if it isn't your normal game style, what you want to do is improve that part of your game so that you're actually able to finish off the points. You don't want to be just stuck in a defensive or a neutral position when you have those shorter balls that you can actually attack. So there you have it, 5 tactics and tricks to help you win more singles matches. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. If you have enjoyed it, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel of course, and turn on that notification bell. Now if you want more help in winning more singles matches, we have a free tactics guide that you can download right away. I'll leave the link beneath this video. Now if there are any lessons you'd like to see from us in the near future, leave a comment down below. Signing off, Coach Simon from TTT. All the best and see you soon guys.